It's that time of the week again. Time to catch up with BYU team captain Clark Barrington. Senior Day is on the docket. He is one of the 37 players listed that are going to be walking on Senior Day. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about facing Utah Tech, how is the bye week, and a whole lot more.
You are Locked On Cougars, your daily podcast on the BYU Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jake Hatch, your host here on Locked On Cougars, resident BYU insider. Thank you for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. Always appreciate you guys checking out the show. We are your only daily podcast focused on the BYU Cougars. Title sponsor on today's show is our friends over at LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs is helping you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post that job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Time now to welcome in BYU offensive guard / team captain Clark Barrington for his weekly visit here on the podcast. Clark, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Well, thanks again for joining us. So let's just start here. How was the bye week? Did you get? Do you feel refreshed? I guess is the first question.
Yeah, for sure. I think we could all agree. Everybody's bodies are feeling better, feeling a little bit more healthy, and we're ready to go. So.
Now, obviously, you guys played 10 straight weeks of football before getting to this bye week. And I was sitting there thinking about it last week as the bye week was kind of going and watching other football games and whatnot. At the point of the season that bye came, would you have rather, in your heart of hearts, just continued to play, or did you really feel like you needed that week off?
It was nice to kind of have a break. But I think it kind of would also been nice to just keep playing. Some of the guys were talking, and we were like, man, it feels like we haven't played football in forever. And today was the first padded practice, of the week, and so it was good to get back out there and hit again and fly around. So it was fun.
How is the team feeling / looking in your mind after that week off?
Yeah, I think just like I said, everybody's feeling a little bit better. So, just a little bit more confidence. Everybody's moving around well, and so we're just excited to keep playing. So,
I was at a practice talking with Coach Guilford. We also talked with Pepe Tanuvasa, and a similar question was asked to both of them, just about how important that win over Boise State was, just to get you guys your confidence levels back up. And they both essentially alluded to the fact that they really felt like you guys needed that win just to kind of get some wind into your sails and feel like you have some momentum going into the final stanza of the season. Would you agree with that?
I would completely agree. I think the win was a big deal, and it's going to help us just continue to push forward. So,
all right. So this week it is Senior Day. I know that Senior Day is a misnomer because there are guys who are redshirt sophomores, COVID juniors, redshirt juniors, and even some COVID seniors, etc., who are all going to be walking and being honored by BYU fans, the coaching staff, and the administration. You are among 37 players on that list who are going to be walking. So, Clark, I haven't lobbied this question at you at all this year, but why are you walking? Does that mean you have decided on your future yet?
I have not decided,
Okay.
what the future plan is. And I think lots of people on that list haven't really decided. Just like you said, there's a bunch of guys, who knows what people's eligibility really is these days. And so, with that, there's a bunch of people in different situations. And so, the coaches and staff just want to give everybody a chance to be able to walk, and so they're just kind of dotting their I's, crossing their T's, making sure everybody gets the opportunity to walk, if they want it. And so just kind of including a bunch of different people in a bunch of different situations in that. So.
Well, and that's what I figured. I figured there's all kinds of things. Could be guys who have medical retirement potentially on the horizon. Guys like yourself who have potential NFL futures in their future. There's also 13 guys like Joe Tukuafu, Lupini Katoa, down that list. 13 of the guys are just out of eligibility. They've run out of eligibility. So you mentioned the fact that there's so many different situations here. How many conversations have gone on between all of these guys, yourself included, with regards to, are you walking, are you not walking?
There's been a few conversations, just seeing what page everybody's on, and most people are just kind of up in the air, still trying to figure it out as time goes on. We're all just trying to worry about this next game and play the best we can, and then let the rest take care of itself, later on. So I think we're all just doing it just in case, and then we'll see what happens come later in the year. So.
Now, Coach Satake, during his weekly press conference, he's actually kind of said it the last 2 weeks, is that with regards to guys like yourself who still have some eligibility, if you decide to pursue it, I think you have another season. Is that right? If
Yes,
you
sir.
want. Okay, yep. So he said even with these guys having that eligibility remaining, he essentially wants to get you guys in touch with NFL scouts, talent evaluators, anybody who can have a say with regards to what your future can be. He said essentially he wants you guys to have those conversations so you can make the most informed decision you can make as an athlete. How involved has he been in that process up to now, and how much more involved do you think he will be down the stretch here?
Yeah, I'm sure that involvement will come, a little bit later on. I think we're all just focused on, the task at hand and trying to finish out the season good and go to a bowl game and do all of those things. So I think we're just kind of trying to focus on the here and now, and we'll focus on the things as they come later. So.
Now, I do want to talk about Utah Tech, obviously, the chance to get the bowl eligibility. We'll get to all of that here in just a moment. I do have one final question with regards to your future. When it comes to your decision, do you expect to have that decision made by the end of the season, or do you think you'll let it play out a little bit longer than that?
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Okay, fair enough.
We'll just see kind of where things go, where it takes me, and I guess the feedback I receive and all that stuff, it just depends on the timing, I guess. Yeah.
Who do you think you'll be listening to? I'm assuming your wife will obviously be involved with that, your parents, anybody else you feel like will be in part of that conversation?
Honestly, probably just family is the biggest one.
Yeah.
Just talking with them and feeling it out and seeing what's best. So.
Very cool. All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about Utah Tech, obviously senior day festivities, all that type of stuff. First, we need to get a word in on our friends over at LinkedIn. Of course, this time of year, everybody's trying to finish their year strong, and every new potential hire out there as a small business can feel like a high-stakes wager for you. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs is helping you find the right people for your team faster, and the best part is they're doing it for free. You can go online. Many of us out there, I think, Clark, are you on LinkedIn? Do you have a LinkedIn profile?
I am. Yep.
And essentially all of us have used it in one way or another for networking or just essentially to keep in touch with other business leaders out there. And that's what LinkedIn's here for. The best part is if you are hiring, you can go and add your job in the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring as a small business. They also feature simple tools like screening questions to make it easy to focus on the candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. LinkedIn Jobs is helping you find the qualified candidates that you want to talk to faster. The best part is small businesses are rating LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. So give it a shot, my friends. Post your job for free right now at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post that job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Continuing on here with Clark Barrington, but a quick reminder for you guys, make sure you check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. Essentially, it's the audio format, as I call it, of going to like ESPN.com, whatever sports page you happen to frequent, and getting caught up on all the biggest stories, the major headlines, take of the day, all that type of stuff. Go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only the Locked On Podcast Network can provide. Locked On Sports Today is available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. All right, Clark, let's talk about it. It is senior day for you guys. Obviously, you guys are getting ready for your final home game of the season. How different is a feel as you get ready for the final home game of the year? And you've done this 3 or 4 times now in your playing career. How different of a feel is it when you play that final game at LES?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a different feel for sure. Just like you said, there's that senior day kind of vibe and things that hang over the team. It's good. It's a good vibe, going into the game. And then once the game is over, it's kind of a sad emotional type of thing. Of course there's more games to be played, but it's just kind of the realization that, maybe maybe the guys that I'm playing with, you know, it's going to be over here soon. And so, no, I think it's great, you know, because we go out there, we play for the seniors, we grind, and we do the best we can to come out with a win, and then, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we're able to celebrate that win with them, and then, you know, just show our appreciation and love for them. So it's cool.
You mentioned the fact that the relationships you build over time with your teammates, and obviously some of them they move on every year, and there's a chance you may move on after this year. How you mentioned the fact that during the game, it doesn't really feel like much different than another game. But you said after the game, is a kind of, like I said, I determined, I guess, a melancholy feel, because you know that's the final time you guys are suited up together on your home turf. Can you just kind of give us an insight as to how tough that can be to know that, hey, this is the end of an era?
Yeah, you know, all of these guys, you know, they become like brothers, and you become really close with most of them, if not all, you know, and so, you know, it sucks to kind of get to this point, because things do change and people move on and whatnot, but you know, there's still good things to come, so got to hang your hat on that.
Now, you mentioned the fact that you come like brothers and you get to know each other. I think a lot of people would be surprised to know that you're interacting with defensive backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, but that's really, I think, how Kalani Satake has gone about building this program. He doesn't want you guys as an offensive line just simply to fraternize with your own guys, maybe the defensive linemen. He essentially wants you guys to build the relationships clear across the team. Am I right in that assessment?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's a big focus.
Now, you talk about the love and learn and all that stuff. How do you guys go about doing that? Is it just simply you've been playing the same field, you have conversations? How do you go about building those relationships?
I think they kind of slowly form over time. You know, in the off season, you know, there's a big focus of trying to just get to know, you know, a new person, you know, every day, and try to learn more about your teammates, maybe the new guys that are coming in, whatnot. And just try to learn who they are, where they're from, you know, maybe a little bit about their story and whatnot. And then, you know, just slowly over time through interactions and joking around or whatnot, you know, you get to learn, you know, a lot about your teammates, and you get to grow close with them. So it's always fun.
We're gonna finish up today's show. I'm gonna ask you about some specific guys. I just kind of want some insight from you, because you've been around this program a long time. You got to know a lot of guys. We'll get to that here in just a moment. But as you get ready for this game against Utah Tech, they're an FCS level program. Typically, these games take place in the early part of the schedule for most teams out there. But you guys, during your independent era, traditionally have played these games in November. So what, in your mind, is the biggest key to making sure you guys take care of business and avoid what will be a potentially embarrassing upset?
Right. You know, I think the big focus this week, you know, we understand that they're a good opponent. You know, they have an offense that can score a lot of points, and their defense does their job. And so, you know, just preparing like it is any of these other games. You know, just realizing that we need to respect the game, and play in that type of manner, and be ready to go and polished and ready to execute, you know, when it comes game day. So.
Now, you mentioned the fact that you guys have to prepare like it's a regular opponent. How difficult can that be? Because you do realize this is a lower level program. You're expected to blow them out, but it can be easy. I guess I never played at the collegiate level. I've been very upfront about that, but I would imagine it sometimes you can be very quick to be like, you know what, this is Utah Tech. They're an FCS level team. We're going to steamroll these guys. Let's look ahead to Stanford. How difficult can that be?
It can be difficult. I think, you know, our coaches do a good job on emphasizing, you know, the importance of this game. And I think we realize, you know, the importance of this game, you know, and hopefully through this game, we receive bowl eligibility and all that stuff. So there's a lot more kind of weighing on this game than just a win or a loss. And so I think, you know, as a coaching staff, as players, you know, we're taking it as serious as we can. So.
You mentioned that the key is getting to bowl eligibility, getting to that coveted sixth win. And I know that sounds weird to say a coveted sixth win, but it guarantees you guys that extra game. It guarantees you a 15th game. You get to practice through the month of December for whenever that bowl game takes place. How important is making a bowl game?
Yeah, you know, it's one of our team goals. So it's pretty important. You know, it's always A good time to be able to play another game with your buddies, with your brothers and whatnot. And so, we're all looking forward to playing that extra game. So.
Okay, now bowl games, you've played in your fair share of them. If I'm not mistaken, you went to the Hawaii Bowl back in 2019. You played.
Yep.
Did you play in that famous Idaho Potato Bowl in 2018?
I didn't play in that, but I was on the team. Yeah.
Okay, you're on the team then. But you played. Then you played in Boca Raton. You played in the Independence Bowl last year. Is there one of those bowl games in particular that stands out more than the others?
The Hawaii Bowl was fun.
Okay. Despite the loss, obviously.
Despite the loss, it was still in my early playing days, and so I played left guard and right guard in that game, switching back and forth.
Okay.
On a rotation. But I feel like that was kind of where I made my biggest jump. So it was an exciting game. And then I actually didn't play in the Boca Raton Bowl.
Did you?
But I was hurt.
Okay.
But I was up in the box helping coach because all of the offensive coaches had COVID. So that was a different experience as well. So I don't know. They're all good memories to have. So.
I didn't know you were in that box for that game. I remember the coaches were unavailable, obviously, COVID deal and everything. So
yeah.
It was Coach Barrington, I guess, G.A. Barrington.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
What was your responsibility that night?
Yeah, I was over picking up the defensive fronts and then the blitzes. So I was just staring at those all night, taking notes. And relaying the information. I was
just saying, you're probably relaying that to the sideline to give them an idea of how things look, et cetera, right?
Yeah, for sure. It was interesting, but it was a good time.
I guess this brings me to a question. I didn't anticipate ever asking you this, but watching the game from a sideline, obviously, there's that perspective. You're obviously in the middle of a game. You're out there on the field. But in terms of watching it from that, I guess 30,000 foot view probably is the wrong term, but watching it from high up, watching it from a box, how different is the perspective for you?
Yeah, it was different. Not gonna lie, it's probably a little bit more stressful up in the box than it is on the field.
Why?
I don't know. I just, at least for me, I felt like I just couldn't mess up. I couldn't miss, seeing something. We had the field, the live play, in front of us. There was a little TV up there, and it was kind of delayed, so you could try to catch maybe a little something you missed on the field or whatnot. But it was fun. It was a good experience.
So you essentially got the perspective of being like a guy and a coach in the stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess so.
Did I miss something on that front there that might give us a key or something like that? Okay.
Yeah.
I can get that. All right. Well, that's the fun part. Okay. Now, my final thing, obviously, we're anticipating you guys winning this game and getting to bowl eligibility. What is your, I guess, ideal for a bowl game? You mentioned like the Hawaii Bowl. Is you just want warm weather? Like, what are you looking for?
Hey, honestly, anywhere warm would be great.
Hey, fair enough. hey, I'm right there with you, honestly.
Yeah. You can't complain about going to Hawaii. So.
Well, and that's the thing. I was like, okay, because if you were on the team during the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, that day was fairly chilly.
Yeah, it was.
The Independence Bowl last year was just a slop-filled mess.
Yeah.
In many ways. And then Boca Raton, I was at that game. It was actually fairly decent.
Good. Yeah.
And then Hawaii, obviously, Hawaii's always just wonderful. So
right.
I can trust me. If I were able to pick your guys' bowl game, I'd be like, okay, where is a warm weather destination? That's where the Cougars are going.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So we'll finish up today's show. I want to ask you about some of your teammates, some guys that are also going to be walking on senior day. We're not 100% certain like yourself that all of them will leave BYU, but I want to kind of get your insight as a teammate of theirs as to what they've meant to BYU. We'll get to that here in just a moment. First, though, a word on our friends over at BetOnline. BetOnline is your number one source for all of your sports betting information, stats, news, and analysis. The best part is you can get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from football to basketball to soccer to esports. They've got it all at BetOnline. Now, Clark, the BYU men's basketball team is going to spend Thanksgiving out in the Bahamas at the Battle for Atlantis tournament. Give me an idea. What do you think the odds are BYU wins that tournament from our friends at BetOnline?
Oh, gosh, I have no idea. I don't know who else is in there. I'm not sure. I'm not following super closely. So
it's one of the top what they call MTEs, mid-season tournament events, and BYU has 20-1 odds from our friends at Bet Online to win that tournament. So if you want to get in on that action, you can do it now with our friends at Bet Online. They are the fastest and the easiest way to get all of your betting fix available to you. Now, also if you love sports podcasts like this one, you can find those on Bet Online as well. So head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. That's Bet Online, where the game starts. Thank you once again for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. Finishing up here with Clark Barrington and his weekly appearance here on the show. And Clark, this is week 12 of the season. Did you know that you and I have been talking for 14 weeks now, every single week? It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's gone fast.
It has gone fast. That's the funny thing about it. And my wife always jokes that come August, she essentially says, okay, I'll see you in December, because I'm here, there, and everywhere during the season. And that's what it is. It's kind of a sprint in many ways through about 3 months of the year. And it feels like it's so hard to kind of focus on the here and now, because there's always the kind of the next thing. But I would assume that's kind of the same way you guys feel about the season. It seems like it probably sails by pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. As you start the season, you're thinking, wow, this might be a long one. But looking back now, it's gone way fast. And I'm sure it will just continue to speed up. So.
All right. So I want to talk to you about some of the guys, some of your teammates that have spent time with you playing for BYU. So I'm going to run down the list here of guys that they're guys I kind of handpicked, and guys I think you might have some insight on. Obviously, I want to start off with your running mate there on the left side of the offensive line, Blake Freeland. He is a guy that's going to walk on senior day. Don't know what his future is. He's pretty highly thought of in terms of being an offensive tackle, pretty elite in terms of athleticism. But give me an insight. What have you liked most about lining up alongside number 71?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's just, the relationship we've made. Him and I are good buddies. And so, just being able to play next to him, good or bad, just laughing through it, enjoying what we're doing, and having a good time day in and day out. It's just always a good time with Blake out there. So.
I assume he's more talkative on the field than he is with the media, because when he talks to the media, he is buttoned up as all get out.
Yeah, for sure. I think he loosens up when he's on the field, so it's always a good time.
Fair enough. Now, obviously, Harris LaChance also on that offensive line, a guy who's going to be honored on Saturday. You obviously played with Harris for a long time. I think you guys probably came in around the same time. I'm not 100% certain on the timeline.
Yeah, he got here a couple months before me. So.
Okay, so you guys have been together for a really, really long time. What's your relationship with Harris like, and what's he like as a player?
Yeah, he's a good dude. Just another – I guess you could just put the whole line under goofy guys, just having a good time, laughing and trying to enjoy what we're doing every day. And so, I think, just all of us, we're just out there having fun, day in and day out, whether things might be going our way or not, just trying to keep a smile on our face and enjoying what we're doing and being in the here and now. So it's been good playing with him.
Now, he's one of those guys like Jaron who actually has had a kid during his time playing at BYU. How has fatherhood changed him, if at all?
Yeah, I think it's changed him. A little bit more responsibility or whatnot. His kid takes after him for sure. Are already massive and a monster. So, it'll be fun to see how he grows up. But
he got the gene pool from his dad, apparently.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, that's always a good thing. The next era of BYU football. All right. I also wanted to talk to you about Jaron. He is going to be walking on senior day. We don't know what his future holds, but what has Jaron meant to you personally?
Yeah, this is another guy that we're good buddies and always joking around and whatnot. And so, he's a good dude. Great athlete and super humble and just honestly would do whatever he could to help somebody out. And so, just a great guy to be around and respect him a lot and grateful for our friendship. So.
Now, Mason Wake, I'm not going to lie, I was surprised to see him on this list. He's been around BYU a long time like yourself. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that he's going to be honored no matter what the future holds for him. But Mason's a guy that I'm sure you got to know very, very well because he plays that H-back role, the fullback, that type of stuff that's helping you guys along that offensive line. And people, I've got to know Mason a little bit, and I absolutely love him as a dude because he's not afraid to speak his mind. That's one thing I really respect him as an athlete is he's not afraid to just state how he feels about stuff. So give me an insight as to your relationship with Mason.
Oh yeah, we call him the travel size O lineman. So
okay. The size O lineman. Okay.
So we always have a good time with him. It's been fun playing with him. See him do his things. Hurdling and whatnot, and then making some good blocks and things. And so, I'll miss playing with him for sure. And he's a great dude.
Now, a lot of people were hoping to see more of Houston Haymulle on the field. And we've seen him play special teams this year. He plays a similar role in the offense to what Mason does. I know your relationship with Houston's kind of just barely getting going because he was a graduate transfer into the program this year. But what's your relationship with Houston like? Yeah,
he's a great guy. Another goofy guy. I guess I just joke around with everybody. So
hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
But he's a good dude, and he brings the energy. And he loves the game of football, and you can tell in everything he does. And so, having him, whether it's on the sideline or on the field, he's been a great addition to the team, just bringing that energy and bringing that love for the game. So he's a great guy.
Now, Chris Brooks, a similar situation, a graduate transfer into the program, has probably not played as much as he would have liked to, and is probably as much as you guys would have liked to have had him on the football field due to injury, that type of stuff. But Chris, he spoke to the media during training camp, but then we didn't really get a chance to catch up with him after that because he's kind of, I guess, self-imposed his own exile in a way. He's like, I ain't doing that. But what has Chris been like throughout this season?
He's had, some trials and whatever, some injuries he's had to fight through, but I think he's done a good job just staying positive and trying to contribute in any way he can. A lot like Houston, he brings the energy and he just wants the best for the guys that are out there on the field if he can't be out there. And so, he's just a great guy, and when he does get his chance and when he is out there on the field, he brings the energy and runs the ball, with a meaning and with a purpose. And so he's always good to have out there.
Now, there are a number of defensive linemen on this list. Alden Tofa, Pepe Tanuvasa, Earl Tuioti Mariner, Alema Pilimai on there, Gabe Summers, Nisa Mahe. These are guys that you've gone up against day in and day out in practice. And I know you don't necessarily go one-on-one all the time in practice, but you've gotten pretty familiar, I'm sure, with most of those guys. What kind of legacy do those defensive linemen leave if and when they exit BYU?
Yeah, for sure. And all those guys are great players. And it's nice to have, good players on the other side of the ball, because that's the only way you get better. So it's been fun competing with them and learning from them and just going at it. And that's just increased, my ability to play, and hopefully it's increased their ability to play. And so it's just been fun being able to compete with them. So
now my final question for you before we wrap things up here is it'll be your potentially your final time playing at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. I guess it's a two-part question here. What will your memories be of playing on your home turf there at LES? And so let's start there. I'll do the second part here in a minute. So what are your overall memories of playing at home over the years for the Cougars?
Yeah, it's just always a good time. Mm-hmm. The fans and everybody, they just bring such a great energy, and it's just a fun environment to be able to play in and be able to, win in. And so it's just been a blessing to be able to play, in such an amazing place. So
now the second part of that, is there a moment or maybe two out that just are most, I guess, first and foremost in your mind with regards to the top times or top moments in terms of your home career for BYU?
Oh gosh, I don't know if there's many top highlights or moments that stand out above the others, but it's just always fun when you step in there and play football and everything's just going your way and whatnot, and it's just always a blast when you're winning and playing well and doing those things. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we wish you the best this week with senior day, no matter what your decision ultimately is. Maybe you'll get a second one next year. Who knows how that'll play out, but we'll be looking forward to that. Look forward to catching up with you next week ahead of the season, the regular season finale against Stanford. Assuming you guys will be bowl eligible at that point. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But Clark, thanks as always for taking the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
There you go. That's Clark Barrington. Big thank you to all of you for tuning in. Thank you for making us your first listen of the day. Want to encourage you now to make your second listen. Our friends over at the Locked On Big 12 podcast. Get caught up on everything going on in the Big 12 conference with Josh Neighbors in 30 minutes or less. Get it free and available wherever you get your podcast, just like this one. For Clark, I'm Jake. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back with you guys again tomorrow. This has been the Locked On Cougars podcast. See ya.